in the enhanced games, you felt like it was anything goes. Take whatever you want, but it's actually the majority of steroids you cannot even take. Coach Greg, in today's video, Thor's shocking protocol reveal of the exact steroids he used to compete at the enhanced games, and you are going to be surprised. And I do believe that this specifically explains exactly why he did not set the all-time record in the deadlift. It was of no fault of his own. It's on the organizers of the enhanced games.
Taking tests, Deca, Durnable, Anadrol, and small amount of halo testing.
Test Deca, Anadrol, and some amount of halo. Notice, did he take any tren? Did he take a massive concoction of various steroids, or did he only take a select few? Thor has been on performance-enhancing drugs for years. Now, he doesn't have to admit it. We don't have to go into details, but he's a world's strongest man, one of the strongest men to have ever lived, and he's been doing this for years. If you don't think that he's been on multiple cycles throughout his lifetime, then you perhaps don't understand strongman or powerlifting in general. And so, throughout his life, he would have learned the exact cycles that work best for him in comparison to others. Every single year, you do a cycle and you learn, how does my body perform best? How many milligrams of tren, how many milligrams of test? You learn exactly what to take at what time and how to design your cycle leading up to a competition. But in the enhanced games, of which many of you don't realize, you felt like it was anything goes. Take whatever you want, but it's actually very specific to only steroids that are FDA approved. And so most of them, the majority of steroids you cannot even take.
When I first signed up with Enhanced Games, I thought, it's Enhanced Games, I can use whatever I want. Great. But then actually, after speaking to my agent and speaking to the people, I realized that only FDA-approved substances are allowed. So I actually had to change up a little bit because I was using substances before that weren't FDA-approved.
Can you tell us what you had to stop taking in order to compete?
In the past, I took substances like Dianabol. I've used substances like Trenbolone that's not allowed. Equipoise that's not allowed.
Already, he's listed out that he couldn't take Equipoise, which is EQ, Tren or Trenbolone, as well as D-ball or Dianabol. If you rely on those three drugs and those drugs work best for you, and just think of how strong Tren actually is. It's so much stronger than test. And suddenly you cannot use it. How are you going to set the record when 1% makes the difference? Do you really think that Thor was actually allowed to use whatever he wants? And so imagine, to his surprise, the enhanced games, finally, a competition where I can take whatever I want, only to find out that you can take steroids, but only specific ones at specific doses. How would that make you feel?
So these are the main substances that I have used in the past that are not allowed here at the Enhanced Games.
Imagine you're in the enhanced games, and the only way to set the record is you have to cheat. You have to use steroids that are not allowed. Imagine being banned for using steroids that you couldn't use in the enhanced games. Think of how ridiculous it actually seems. And so we're talking about the enhanced Olympics. Take whatever you want. And so imagine if all the best athletes suddenly failed the drug test for taking steroids that they were not allowed to take. And so I wrote, great transparency, and also explains why the enhanced games didn't allow him to set the world record. Imagine having to change the cycle that you know works to only FDA-approved PEDs. In my opinion, this would be similar to saying, at the next Olympics, we're going to allow you to take whatever you want. And then you find out after deciding, I'm going to train for 3 years, 4 years, I'm going to get back into it. And you find out that you're allowed to take SARMs, you're allowed to take peptides, but you can't take steroids. That those are not allowed. You're thinking, well, I want the steroids. I was specifically going to be taking test and tren. And so now you're telling me that I can be enhanced, but only somewhat enhanced. This was essentially the half natty Olympics. And by half natty, I mean 98% natty. The steroids that they're allowed to take still are going to help a lot. Of course they are. They're going to help way more than you would imagine, but not as much as if you were allowed to take exactly whatever you want. I think he had the lift. I think it was him slipping that messed it up. Regardless of if he was close, regardless of the fact that he was slipping, if he was way stronger from taking tren, the D-ball, the equipoise that he was used to, even with the slip, he would have lifted the weight up. Think of it like this. If you can bench press 550 with all the steroids in the world, but you can only bench press 400 natural, and they allow you to take some steroids, and you're bench pressing about 525, it's still a lot. But if the world record is 540, how are you going to beat it? Well, if you get lucky, you have a good day, you rested perfectly, you pause very briefly, you lifted it up. Somehow it's possible that you still get the record. But it's not going to be easy. And so him trying to get this record, it was an uphill battle of which it wasn't actually fair. If they want to actually have the enhanced games, if they want athletes to take whatever they want, they simply need to not test them. Hey, you can do whatever you want. And you know what that is? The regular world's strongest man, regular powerlifting, they don't drug test. Do you really think that Thor has to pass drug tests when he does regular powerlifting competitions, world's strongest man and so on? And so whenever these guys compete, lifting weights and so on, they don't have to be tested. They already are taking whatever they want. And so the enhanced games, it should be the partially enhanced games. The 50-50 natties, they have regulations. They're allowed FDA-approved medications. But do you really think it's still going to be safe? Do you really think that taking test, D-ball, and halo testing of all things, halo testing is very toxic to the liver, trust me. I would take it before all of my competitions the last several weeks, and it gave me tremendous amounts of energy. But it's hepatotoxic, it's horrendous, it's not safe. And so if we compare, for example, halo testing to equipoise, of which you're allowed to use halo, but you're not allowed to use EQ, EQ is significantly healthier, safer, better. And so why signal out some medications and allow others? And so what the enhanced aims did is they had some form of arbitrary decision making saying, if it's FDA approved, you can use it. If it's not, you can't. It's the same thing like when people say, are you natty or are you not? Some people are saying, well, peptides are natural. If you use Retta, are you natural? If you use enclomiphene, are you natural? People will debate one side versus the other. And so, of course, there are flaws. For example, DHEA, it's banned by WADA. Now, they're probably not going to be able to detect this in some form of a urine or blood test to see specifically, are you taking it? And so you might be able to get away with it. But if you announce to the world, hey, I'm taking DHEA, they're going to say, hey, you're a cheater. But are you really? I mean, it depends. If you go by WADA standards, you are. But WADA standards allow you to take GLPs. You can take Ozempic, tirzepatide, Retta, and you're not failing. But yet if you do a drug-tested bodybuilding competition in various federations, some of them are going to ban you. Others, they're allowing you, even within the same sport, depending on the federation. Some are going to say natty and some are going to say not. And so my opinion, if you're having the enhanced games and you want it to be equal playing field for everyone, you have to just say, take whatever you want. Is it healthy? Of course not. Just because a steroid is FDA approved doesn't make it healthy. Do you really think the competitors at the enhanced games taking test DECA as well as Anadrol and Halo are healthy? Of course they're not. Even in moderate to low doses, they can still offer negative consequences to your health. And so don't think that the enhanced games are somehow safe because, oh, they're drug testing and only allowing things that are FDA approved. Just because it's FDA approved doesn't mean it's healthy. I mean, frankly, isn't alcohol approved? Can't you go to the liquor store and buy alcohol, drink it, and die? And so how is that healthy to the same extent? Is Tylenol healthy? Well, what if you take the whole bottle? Probably a very bad idea. So it should be called the kinda enhanced games. That would be more accurate. So Tren was the missing link. Aw, lame, let them take whatever they want. This essentially could be taken as less enhanced than last time, which is exactly what's going on. The athletes at the enhanced games, especially in strongman doing deadlift records, they are less enhanced. They're not able to take as much as they were. And so you cannot expect the same level of performance. If you don't want to compete at the enhanced games, but you want to be kind of enhanced, half enhanced, if you will, you can, of course, get on Ferula. So what should you expect? Dramatic strength gains. I'm talking about this being potentially better than enclomiphene, which is in fact banned by WADA. And so if you want to take a supplement that WADA hasn't banned yet, and why haven't they banned it? They don't even know about it, guys. This is so new, this is so rare, this is so hard to get, to procure, that only HDLT Supplements has it. And so if you want to be one of the first to get this supplement, you got to click the link in the description, code Greg for 15% off. This is the living relative of the now extinct herd Sylvium, which was over-harvested years ago back in the day. It was an amazing supplement. Unfortunately, you can no longer get it, but this, it does in fact remain. You can only get it in one part of the world, of which HDLT Supplements has. And so if you want to get this supplement, you can't get it from anyone else. And so I can't wait for the various people in the world, for example, the Catabolic Twig, various people are going to say, it's snake oil, it doesn't work. I can't wait till you try it. Can't wait till you get tested. And when you post your blood work and people see that it actually does work, people are going to be shocked. They're going to think, I can't believe that HDLT Supplements has again done it again. I mean, at this point, do you expect anything less? And so please make all your videos saying, I don't believe it. And all those people are going to be those who didn't take it. And so those who do in fact take it, well, they're going to buy it and they're going to rebuy it because when they get their blood work, they're going to say, I can't believe it, but yet it's true. And so look for this to eventually be banned by WADA because you know what WADA is going to do? Anything that gives you a significant advantage over your opponents, making you stronger, getting more muscle, exactly what you want. And even though it isn't dangerous when taken exactly as described on the box, remember, you cannot take it long term. You're going to take it for a month. You're going to cycle off. You're going to then repeat the process. That this is significantly better than creatine. This is very synergistic with Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum. This does not increase testosterone, but it certainly makes you train harder than last time, increase recovery, everything. This is going to boost your testosterone. And so imagine you take these, you're getting stronger, you're training harder, you're building more muscle. Is that not exactly what you want? Is it not what you've been looking for, dreaming about, a natural supplement to add on to Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum to get you the gains that you've been waiting for? You're not losing your hair. It's not shutting you down. Your ball sack is not going to get smaller. And so all the good with none of the bad. Is that not what you've been waiting for? Get excited. Tell your friends. Send everyone this video because it is time for the next generation of supplements, again, put out by HDLT Supplements. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo, let me know what you think about Ferula. Have you already decided to buy it? Have you gone to the website? Don't forget to watch any of those tube loops. Of course, if you want to get sponsored, coached, and or sell the supplements in your store gym, the link is right there for you to click on. And until next time, Coach Greg is out.